I've been really into just being, feeling like being is more than enough. And I wanted to know...
Only you could just hold it at that.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. It's a good start, though. When you focus on your being, then everything that fills in around it feels very good.
It does, yeah. My question is, how do I really know? There's so much beautiful things to know, do, be, have. How do I know what to know next? What's the best way to know what's best to know next?
Well,
knowing.
First of all, that's a direct contradiction to your opening statement to us. Get out.
No problem. There's a pool on the 6th floor. I brought my bathing suit.
It's a good place to be. The reason we're playing with you a little bit is because there are times to focus on what you want, and there are times to relax and allow what you've focused upon before to come into your experience. And this is why we are making this important distinction. And it's at the root of your question, so the answer will make a lot of sense to you once we tell you this very short thing. As you pointed out, there are so many options of wonderful things that you could be the creator of. Unlimited. And we can understand how, when you look at it conceptually, that it could feel overwhelming. However, you don't have access to all of those things, nor would you want to anyway. So let's say that your life has helped you to focus on something. Maybe it's money, maybe it's a vehicle, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's an improvement in something. Doesn't matter what the subject is, but the subject, every subject, is the subject of what is wanted and the subject of the absence of it. There's a range between having it and not having it that you could be in vibrational alignment with. You might feel sort of prosperous, but you might worry about money too. So you're sort of back and forth on that subject. So in any moment in time when you focus on something, we like to call your attention to it by saying you've picked up the stick of that subject. And on one end of it is what you want, and on the other end of it is the absence of what you want. And the question is, what's your emotional state of being? What's your vibrational point of attraction when you've picked the stick up? Because when you pick the stick up, when you're focused upon it, that's your point of attraction. So let's say it's about money, just for fun, because that's often something that people are wanting and worrying about. So let's say you've picked up the stick called money, and you're pondering it, but you're under the influence of something that just happened, which is bills came that you can't pay, or someone close to you wants something from you financially that you can't afford. And so what's activated within you is a clear feeling of lack of money, and the way you are feeling right now is worried or pensive or even angry or guilty or blameful or resentful. In other words, you've got some of these emotions that are within you now that you've got this stick in your hand. Under those conditions, what we were talking about earlier, you're blowing a vibrational resistant pattern outward, and even though your vortex has been gathering the cooperative components, they can't get to you because your output is whatever you're under the influence of. So the answer, such an important answer to deliberate creation, is be aware of whether you're under the influence of your problem or whether you're under the influence of your solution. You can't be needing something and letting it in at the same time. That does not go together. Esther had another remarkable experience just the other day. She's having so much insight as she's getting a handle on this concept of what influence am I under and how do I feel? What's my point of allowing? What's my state of allowing right here and now? So someone she cares about was not appreciating her. She wanted to be appreciated by this person, and this person wasn't appreciating her. And Esther really felt like she deserved to be appreciated by this person, but this person wasn't appreciating her. And she was with this person for a very short period of time, and this person wasn't appreciating her. And as Esther walked away, Esther thought, I'm not appreciated by this person, and I should be being appreciated by this person. And she knows that that'll get her nowhere, that she wants to be, but she was too busy, had too much to do. Off she went, and left it right there. Well, the very next day, another person was offering just this willing, helpful, not asked for by Esther, helpfulness. And Esther felt so appreciated. She felt so appreciated. Not big things, but she just felt so appreciated. And she'd completely forgotten that moment in time when she wasn't feeling appreciated, because she was sort of living conditionally. And if the condition made her feel unappreciated, then she felt unappreciated. But when the condition caused her to feel appreciated, she felt appreciated. You get what we're talking about. Not a healthy way to live, but almost everyone does it. And in the middle of that, she received a message from this other person flowing appreciation toward Esther. And Esther had just had that airport experience where she had witnessed a woman screaming for acknowledgement of her value while no one wanted near her because of the forcefulness of her discord. And Esther's putting this all together, and she's thinking, well, if I'm spewing, I'm not being appreciated from this particular person. Even if that person wanted to appreciate me, that person couldn't appreciate me. You create your own reality. It's so easy to think that this other person should be appreciating you no matter what you're doing. And they very well may be, but you can't let it in. So you look confused, are you? It's attraction, 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 attraction. Esther wasn't letting appreciation in, and she had good reason not to, because she didn't feel that she was seeing any evidence of it. But just the same, Esther wasn't letting appreciation in until she got focused in a way where she did let some appreciation in. And then, once she got the pump primed and was letting some appreciation in, then she started being appreciated by the person who wasn't appreciating her before. Doesn't that make a little bit of sense to you? This is what we want you to hear. Feels off the subject, but it isn't. What you're getting isn't about anybody else but you, even though it feels like it's about that person who didn't appreciate me and that person who did. No, it's about that moment in time when I wasn't letting it in and this moment in time when I am letting it in. And here's the thing. Now you're starting to hear us a little bit, yes? Here's the thing. You can't let what others are doing be your reason for not feeling appreciated or feeling appreciated. You can't be conditional in it. You've got to get out ahead of it. Because if you're having a knee-jerk reaction to what is, then more of the same of what is what's going to come to you, because you're not going to let anything other than the knee-jerk reaction to what is in. Does that make sense to you? Whatever it is that you're feeling is the indicator of the wall that you've got up or the openness that you have. If you're feeling wonderful, then you're open and more wonderful on all subjects is being allowed into you. But if you're feeling disenfranchised or disadvantaged or not respected or taken advantage of in some way, then that's your vibrational output, and that's affecting everything else that you let in. And none of this has anything to do with the others who are out there interacting with you. It's all you. Now, Esther might say, oh, that doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem like it's all me because I was reacting to other things. We say, therein lies your problem. Letting others control what you're letting in by your isolated moment in time. Picking something that feels bad and then being unhappy that something that feels good can't get in through your spewing of what feels bad. It's attraction. It's attraction. It's attraction. So what is the remedy? Well, for a while we've been teaching you, reach for a thought that feels better. But there's a law of attraction momentum going on that won't let you find a thought that feels better when you're under the influence of something that doesn't feel good. Doesn't that make sense to you? When you try to focus on that subject, you just get more resentful and more unhappy about it as you focus more about it. And so what we're suggesting is something that we're calling getting out ahead of it. And what we mean by that is practicing a vibration of letting it in. When you're in a place that it's easy to practice the vibration of letting it in, until you get so good of being in the place of letting it in that even when somebody's behaving in a way that you usually wouldn't let it in, you're so practiced at letting it in that you don't stop letting it in because you're having a knee-jerk reaction to something that's going on. You're so practiced at knowing your well-being. You're so practiced at feeling blessed that when somebody who for whatever reason doesn't feel blessed themselves and so they're acting wonky around you, you don't have a knee-jerk reaction to their wonkiness because you're steady in your knowing that you are blessed. Does that make sense? So the two ways of going about that meditation is the best way we know, because when you quiet your mind, you stop all that wonkiness. When you quiet your mind, you stop thought. When you stop thought, you stop resistance. When you stop resistance, you're under the influence of your source energy. And when you're under the influence of your source energy, the world is brighter, the world is nicer, the world treats you better, and you treat the world better. Under that influence, things go well for you. So when you quiet your mind, you stop doing those reactionary things, those knee-jerk response things. So flying in yesterday, Esther came from San Diego. It was a long flight, and she was flying Southwest, which she really likes, the dependability of it, the sureness of it, the convenience of it for her. And when they landed in Boston, they were 25 minutes early. But the gate was still being occupied by whoever was there before, so the plane sat on the tarmac, which was fine. She thought to herself, doesn't matter if I'm in the air or sitting on the ground. We're early, so she was focusing herself into a place of feeling good. And then the man behind her, because she had not noticed all through the flight, began to feel fitful. And he was a large person, and his knees apparently had been touching her seat the whole time. She was just not aware of it. And he began bouncing his legs in a sort of nervous disorder. And as he bounced his legs with his knees against her seat was vibrating pretty well, so much so that she couldn't play her word game because she couldn't quite touch the spot she meant to touch on her word game. And so the first minute or two, she pretended it was a massage and tried to make the best of it. And then she put her word game away because it was not possible to play the word game. And so she sat there under that, and then she thought, I wish his knees would stop jerking. And then she thought, I'm having a reaction to his knee jerking. Is this what a knee-jerk reaction is? She couldn't stop laughing. She's just thinking, this is a perfect example of me having a reaction to something that's happening, and then she wasn't bothered by it anymore. She thought the universe deliberately brought this knee-jerking man. She always thought that it were her knees that were jerking in a knee-jerk reaction. The universe is so funny. Don't you think the universe is funny? Don't you think it's a wonderful thing that whatever you're wanting to know will come? Don't you like knowing that if you can get out ahead of it? So meditation, a very good way. The other way is what we are calling segment intending. And segment intending means being in a segment, aware that you're going to move into another segment, and using this segment to make your statements of desire about the next one. And so Esther has begun. She has several notebooks full of these segments now. She's discovered that by focusing on a word, a feeling word, like I feel eager, or I feel satisfaction, or I feel blessed, or I feel open to what's coming next, or I feel an eagerness for understanding, or I feel blessed in this moment. As she finds these words that, in writing them slowly, generates the emotion within her, what she's noticing is that she said to a friend the other day, I thought segment intending, because we've been talking about it for a while. The first recording that we made with Jerry was the law of attraction. The second one was the law of deliberate creation. The third one was the art of allowing. The fourth one was segment intending. That's how far back this idea of deliberately focusing goes in this spewing that Esther's been doing for us. And Esther said, I thought that what segment intending was recognizing that I'm getting into my vehicle and I'm now saying to the universe, I want safety, and I want smooth transfer, and I want cooperative drivers. And it is some of all of that. It's focusing all of that. But Esther said, now I'm understanding that it's not about me, powerful me, hooking up with source energy and getting out there and changing circumstances and events in order to accommodate me. Hear this. No, it's me finding words that make me words of blessing, words of love. It's about me deliberately affecting my point of attraction so that as I move out into the world, my point of attraction lets in this good thing and this good thing and this good thing. Because as you move through space and time, it's all out there. Segment intending is getting out of here.